everyone. Hello, Affirmers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this big, beautiful world. Thank you for joining us for yet another episode of the AM Affirmation Space. My name is Kiran Fairweather, also known as the Affirmation Whisperer and the founder of Boldly Becoming Her. And I have two beautiful women here. We all have so much going on, but I'm just going to cut to the chase. Go to the socials, check me out, follow me, message me, what have you. Miss Marcy, what you got to say?
Hello, everybody. I am Marcy Trueheart. That's the way you can find me on Facebook. And on IG, you can find me at marcy.moments because you know I love you and there's nothing you could do about it. Clivia.
Oh, Pastor Mike Queen. Hello, hello. I am Clivia Allen. I am the servant leader at Chosen 31 Essentials, where we focus on storytelling through dance, publication, and media. And you can learn more at cliviaallen.com. We also by now should have started our 12-week journey of healing and maybe becoming her. And you'll hear more of that from Karen pretty soon. All right. Let's start this conversation.
All right, y'all, we're going to get right into it. Our subject today, I was supposed to let Miss Marcy do that, but since I'm talking anyway, the addiction to chaos. The addiction to chaos is our subject. Take it away, Miss Marcy.
Man, the addiction to chaos. When survival becomes your identity. Okay, listen. When high functioning women confuse urgency with purpose, basically take that cape off your back. You don't need it. Okay. Chaos as a nervous system default, not a character flaw. Hey, that oh, around the holidays. Yeah. And how being needed replace being nourished. That right there, self-care.
Yeah.
That right there, let's just for a few minutes. When being needed replaces being nourished. When you feel as if people need you in order to fulfill you, then that means you have a deeper issue of trauma somewhere else. So that's something, and we talk about therapy here, and seeking therapy for stuff like this, it works. It makes you a better you. Because being needed and not nourished has you malnourished emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically. We're going to talk about some more of that too. And the discomfort that arises when there's nothing to fix. Oh, then we go and break stuff. You and your children had a nice relationship. Y'all was going good. And then you just want to bring up some stuff from 10 years ago that was resolved. Now you have people up in the uproar. For why? Because you don't understand how to live in the now and calm. Because I was just talking to my therapist today, and nothing's perfect, but it's pretty damn good. But it's still some stuff that's pretty darn messed up too. But I choose to walk, and we were talking about this in an early show. I choose to be grateful for all that's going on right.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying not being, because my life was chaotic. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. I was losing weight. I cried all the time. Baby, now I eat all the time. I sleep very well. I'm not losing weight. But the chaos has subsided. And I like it. I like it here. And this quote, chaos didn't make you strong. It made you alert. And let's do a reflection. When things are quiet in my life, what do I feel compelled to do next? I know because I am living in a non-chaotic time. What I what I um what I feel to do next is go into an even higher self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-love for me to keep me at an ascension, because that's gonna be my word for 2026, ascension, to keep me raised above. So chaos is down here. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be up here. Chaos is down here. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
so
Love that.
Awesome. I love it too.
Clivia.
And just piggybacking off of that, taking off that cape, right? And why calm can feel unsafe for some. Peace
Mm-hmm.
exposes what distraction once covered. And I know I've had to learn that being busy sometimes is not, it doesn't mean you're being productive. It just means you're being busy, right? And whether it's to cover up reality, whether it's to maybe be noticed, like, oh, she's always doing something, oh my gosh, but no, peace over that, and just being calm in the midst of, there's a song called There Will Be Peace in the Valley for me, right? No more pain, no more none of that. And some people, it's unfamiliar because it's like this strange land, right? So let's just picture a valley, and it's just you in the valley, and it's like, oh my gosh, where am I? No, that's the way it should be. Like, in regards to, you can exist in an empty place or a full place,
Yeah.
but you don't have to do all the things. And again, I would say I'm still learning that, where we talked about how me having to maybe set an alarm to close my laptop, me having to say no to certain things. So busyness can also act as an armor. And there's some points, but I want to focus on where slower pace can feel threatening to some, where it's like a new identity,
Mm-hmm.
where even them, they have to realize, okay, I can exist in calmness versus being business. Me coming from Brooklyn, from the city life, seeing hustle, bustle, crowded sidewalks. You can't even see the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember actually when we met up, and I kept moving over from the subway gate, and Karan was like, walk on that thing. But I'm just so used to being so busy that I'm so used to going to that side versus just walking freely, right? The peace that surpasses
Yeah.
all understanding, and it's okay even if it feels
Yeah.
unfamiliar. Slowing down also challenges deeply ingrained beliefs about survival. If you've learned that rest equals laziness, it doesn't. That stillness invites loss, it doesn't. Or that ease must be earned through exhaustion, it doesn't. Calm will naturally feel unsafe because, again, it seems unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in one episode, Marcy talked about the nervous system. The nervous system may interrupt peace as a threat simply because it's unfamiliar,
Mm-hmm.
not because it's harmful. So slowing down is okay. And relocating, I definitely had to learn to slow down, although I still wanted to go, go, go,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I was used to. It was very familiar to me. So understanding to live in calmness over chaos, you can exist.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Miss Clivia. That was good because I think in thinking about that, how many of us don't even realize we're living in chaos? How
Right,
many of us don't even realize how uncomfortable we are with peace? We
right.
really are uncomfortable with peace because wait a minute, hold on, it's too quiet around here. Let's get some ruckus going on, right, Miss Marcy?
Something
And
wrong.
the sad part about it is that's generational trauma. That is a form of generational trauma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, always have some chaos going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm,
Everything is like on what's it
oh my
on
God.
yes, everything is a five alarm fire. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Everything is a five alarm fire. It's like, wait a minute, it's just da da da. What's wrong with you? No, girl. Like, okay, I'm gonna let you have that because
Yeah,
I
So
can't.
when I
yeah,
worked at the State Department, that's what it was. Everything, every time you turned around, um, some country was doing something that affected us. So it was always like you walked into chaos. And I remember because I worked at the State Department twice. Wow. But I remember one day it was so quiet and I was new, and they were saying it's too quiet. Something is about to happen.
Mm,
And you know what happened? War broke out in another country. And the next thing you knew,
wow.
all you heard was phones ringing. This is back in when the fax days, were coming in,
Mm-hmm.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
They expected chaos so
Mm-hmm.
much. When it was quiet, it was like 2 days of quietness.
Mm.
That's
And
like
they,
That's
the
like the
children.
stillness before the
Listen, you come in the
storm.
house and you know the children in there, and it's quiet. Like, well, hold on. Something.
Sunday, right.
Where they at?
look, get out of that toilet.
I come in the house and the children just simply be doing something they should be doing
Mm-hmm.
because we've been trained that the children got to be doing something wrong because it's just too quiet. It's if I
Yeah,
don't walk into a house with children screaming and hanging off the chandelier, something is wrong. That feels comfortable. I expected that, so that's
yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah,
happening. Why you
yeah.
can't expect peace?
And that happened the other day. I was like, "What you doing up?" And Mom, I'm just tired. Like I'm in my bed. Like I'm okay. I'm just, and I'm like, okay, all right,
With the side eye.
right,
Okay.
okay.
All right, let's move on. So relearning how to live without crises. So there was a time that I lived in crises for a long time, so much so that not until here late in the past month I realized I was in hiding. I was in crises so much that when I made a change in my life, that I went into hiding. I intentionally looked for places to live that were off the beaten path, back in the cut where I couldn't be easily found. Then I thought I was just looking for a quiet place, which was sort of true. But I was looking for a safe place too, because I had lived in crisis for long. And I went from I had my family's household that was quiet, calm, everybody knew what they was doing. It was no crises all the time to living in crises all the time. I went from being a heavy sleeper to a very light sleeper to the point that I could hear my children when they get up to go do whatever they need to do in the middle of the night. That's just how lightly of a sleeper I became. So I knew nothing about sound sleeping. And still, sometimes today, I don't know anything about it because I still sleep very lightly. And in my evolution, in becoming her, boldly becoming her, I'm starting to take ownership of some things that went on in my life that I didn't even realize I was living in crises. I literally sought out places to live where I felt safe because I lived in crises for so much.
Mhm,
I needed to
mhm.
be in a place where I could see what was coming before it saw me. What is
Right.
that? What kind of living is that? But
Yeah.
it's crisis living because you were in I was in the state that I was. So learning to sit in neutral moments without filling them with something to do, replacing urgency with intention, creating rituals that anchor your calm. Just cause it's quiet don't mean you need to make noise. Be quiet. Just sit there in it. Allowing joy to exist without justification. Instead of me choosing violence on myself this morning, I could have chose joy, but I didn't. I chose violence instead. chose violence instead. So, what is it that I do to myself when life gets calm? Do I choose violence or do I choose joy?
Yeah.
Do I choose peace and calm or do I choose chaos? And answering that question for yourself might give you some clarity on just how you're living today. How are you living right now? So, go ahead, Miss Cody.
I love that. And before I start, I know I didn't miss the prompt, but I want us to even think about, like you mentioned, living in crises. I remember living in noise, and I was so used to living by the train, hearing the siren every hour or so, and that was normal for me. So even again, relocating, quite an adjustment to that. So sometimes I might sit with my shoulders high, or I might sit with my hands crossed. So I want us to just take 2 seconds just to think about your body language. How are you in regards to just letting it go, right? Just being calm and peace and enjoying the quietness, the hush of the evening, the
Mhm.
hush of the morning. Let's do that. Just release. Notice how your body is right now. Is it discomfort or unfamiliar safety?
Hmm.
Yes.
I'll
Becoming a
admit,
woman. Sorry, go
I'll
ahead.
admit, recalling that moment of realization that I had is kind of jarring for me
Mm,
to realize that I was living in crisis so much
right.
that I was seeking safety and didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
That's
And I
quite a
mean,
way for me. It
it
really
is. And
is.
I would think back to when my parents, we lived, it was five of us living in a one bedroom. And that was a chaotic place. We had, whether it was a fire all the time, whether them was they were shooting the security guard because we had building security guards. It was just very bad. And my parents was like, we have to get out of here. We moved somewhere else. It was a lot of crime and gangs, but we felt a little more safe. Then we finally moved into a house. So my parents realized, okay, we have to get out of the noise. But
Hmm.
I literally moved far away from all of it, right?
Yeah.
And just to wrap this up, becoming a woman who chooses peace on purpose. Peace as an active decision, not as a passive state. Choosing peace even when it feels empty at first. And I experienced that when I got divorced.
Hmm.
Designing a life that doesn't require breakdowns, and trusting calm as a sign of healing, not stagnation. And I remember again relocating, and this is all part of my story. So for those listening, if I mention it much, it's because I went through it, right?
Hmm.
Relocating, leaving a job had great benefits. The pay was okay as a single parent now. And I decided to leave all of that because I wanted peace, whether it was peace away from the noise, literal noise, or chaos of just whatever it was.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
decided to let that go. And I was okay with living in my new peace and not seeing it as being stagnant. I was just okay with that. So be
Yeah.
okay with trusting the calm and as a sign of healing. When it's quiet, don't get nervous.
Yeah.
Don't get nervous, but embrace
Hmm.
that healing. What part of
So
me is still adjusting to life without survival mode? Sorry, Kiran.
no, no, go right ahead. What
I
was that
think that was
question again?
actually you can grab that. You can take that.
Okay. Where?
The
Oh,
last section.
I'm like, where are we? Where are we? Okay.
Taking your still.
So, what part of me is still adjusting to life without survival mode? I really can attest to that because in having the realization, that awakening of what my life really was at that time, I'm now recalling even more things that I was doing out of a need for safety. Even how the places I went to, I got in the habit of whenever I went into a place, I had to know where the exits were.
Yeah, which is wise too. But I
It's
get it.
wise, but not to, I mean, I was
You
fanatical
didn't
about it.
understand why you were.
I
Yeah.
do. My
Yeah.
back to a door, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
My back to a you have lost your mind. You think I'm sitting in that chair. No, I'm not sitting there because I'm not sitting with the back to my door, my back to the door. So a lot of things I was doing in survival mode because I felt like I needed to do things to survive. I was in such an unfamiliar territory that had me on high alert at all times. Y'all, when I say all times, I was on high alert at all times. I was stressed out at all times. So when I broke free of that environment, I'm now seeking survival and safety in what I do, where I worked, where I went, what I drove, where I drove, how I drove, everything. Even because my son brought something to my attention. He said, Mom, why are we decorating? Don't nobody come here. And I'm like, yes, they do. No, they don't. Tell me when the last time we had some company in this house outside of family. He said, nobody comes here. He said, we never have visitors. And that brought back to me why we don't have visitors
Mm.
because of past traumas that I have experienced.
Yeah.
I didn't trust people coming to my house,
Mm-hmm.
only family.
Yeah.
And then literally today, I'm living in Atlanta. I've been here 6 years. 3 people have been in my house.
Okay.
3 people outside of family. And that really does speak volume for me about the survival mode. So,
Mhm.
what part of me is still adjusting to a life without survival? I'm adjusting, I'm making some changes. And our final journal prompt for this episode is, if I lived as my future self today. Oh, wait, that's the same question as earlier.
Mm.
Okay. Hold on. Hold, please. Give me just 2 seconds to get to the right question. Here it is.
No, it's well, oh, okay. Because I was gonna say it is there, but I get it.
Yeah, I think that was. I think when I copied and paste, I didn't copy and paste correctly, y'all. So bear with me. I'm almost there. All right, here it is. So, our question, our final question for this particular episode is, actually, it's our prompt, our final prompt that I would like for everyone. And Miss Marcy mentioned this earlier about putting a comment in the chat. What does my body believe will happen if things slow down?
Mm.
Mm.
We're not in crisis anymore. We're not in chaos anymore. We're in calm. But what is my body? What have I internalized? What have I embodied that my body will believe will happen if things slow down?
Mhm.
Can I interject?
Sure, absolutely.
I've noticed now, since I am in a safe place, um, my digestive system is better.
Mm.
Sweet.
I'm taking my ashwagandha, I'm taking my oil of
Magnesium.
oregano and my magnesium. Those are my three that I take. Um, but my digestive system
Mm.
is so much better.
That's true.
So
Being
you,
able to get to that point, you talked about the shoulders being up, Miss Clevia.
Yeah.
that tense.
I
Yeah.
remember I used to walk around with my shoulders. A guy called me a linebacker one time.
Really?
And he said, I'm not calling you because you're wide, because you're a little woman. He said, but you always got your shoulders in your ears. What's going on? And I'm like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Put the shoulders down, ma'am. Put the shoulders down. So these are all signs for us to recognize. Miss Marcy talked about the digestive system, how things that are going on externally absolutely impact us internally. Not being able to sleep, not being able to have a peaceful mind, not feeling safe. Your stomach is bothered. I've been there. When a certain particular person was on their way to where I was, my stomach would start hurting.
Mm.
And when
That's
they
how I
left,
felt about my job. Just imagine all day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, having that feeling. Like on top of
yes,
your marriage is destroyed and whoo.
literally, as soon as this person, I knew the person was coming in my presence, was on their way to my space, my stomach would begin to hurt. And as soon as they darkened their door, my stomach would stop hurting.
You said that before, yes.
Was my body telling me, girl, change, make some changes? Anyhow, with all that, if that be you, affirmers, if that be you, that's a clear indication your body is saying, help,
Yeah.
help, because we are in this distress here. Help, let's make some changes. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you all. We're going to get to our affirmations and our scripture, and then we're going to wrap up this episode. And my affirmation is, peace is not emptiness, it is spaciousness. And I am missing nothing. I have room to breathe and refuel.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I am allowed to rest without waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Period. I do not need chaos to feel alive or worthy. I allow calm to settle my spirit, trusting that stability is not loss, it is healing.
Yes.
Amen. In our scripture text for this session, now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way.
God bless
Bless
you.
you.
Thank
Yes.
you. I have been trying to
You
suppress that
better give
forever.
you better give that good sneeze piece.
Listen, I was trying to suppress it forever. Anyhow, affirmers, thank you all for being here. We so appreciate it. Keep listening, keep sharing, and make sure you're subscribing because we are looking to get to that 25,000 to 5, y'all. 25,000 views. Yes, that's what we're looking for. And we thank you for your support. Until next time, peace and blessings to you all, and have a good evening.
Bye.